Every Canadian town, at least that has a winter, has a lot of different hockey opportunities, but it's none better than Stratford. And particularly back in the 40s when I was a youngster, the river would freeze over by the end of November. We played hockey on the river for hours. I mean, you'd have a hockey game in the arena on like a school game on a Saturday. Go home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you'd be out on the river playing hockey with a bunch of guys, you know. And you learn to handle the puck and skate, and it was a great place to grow up. And when I was 16, we won the Midget Ontario Championship, and that got me an offer to go to Barrie, Ontario, to play for the Barrie Flyers. And I was one of the only guys on the team going to high school. You know, even though at the time I was having a pretty good year playing junior A hockey when I was 16, 17 years old, and then my dad's telling me, "You're not going to play hockey anymore, you're coming home going to high school." And he meant it. And it took me about a week to assure him that I would pass all my exams when it counted, and I did. So he let me stay, but I was a close call. My hockey career almost came to an end but I knew that I had to perform. And Dad was right behind me all the way. We went on and won the Memorial Cup in 1953, so it was great. And then of course, when I got through playing junior, they traded me my last year to Kitchener, which was a tragedy when it happened to me. I couldn't believe that I was being traded away from my beloved Barrie Flyers, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me. We had a great year, but we didn't win very much, but the Dutchmen were going into the senior playoffs, and they needed a replacement for an injured player, so I got called up, and we won the Allen Cup, and then we went on the next year and went to the Olympics. The experience over there was really unusual, obviously. I mean, first of all, the surroundings are unbelievable. You're up at 10,000 feet elevation, and it's beautiful, open. It's like a theater, the arena. They had levels of seating that went up in tiers, and they hung right over the ice, so you're kind of skating inside of a bowl, you know. So your feet would freeze, and the skates would hardly make a mark on the ice. It was that hard, you know. And fast. The ice was fast, so it was hard for us to get used to that, you know, playing inside arenas. But we had what I always look back on as a tragedy. We lost to the American team. We outshot them 48-19, and we lost the game 4-1. You know, so shots on net don't always tell the story, you know. And when we got back from that, I get a phone call from Vic Heiliger at the University of Michigan saying, "How'd you like to come to Michigan and play hockey?" And I said, "How do I get there?" I went over and met him, and they laid it all out for me, and I said, I'll be here on opening day. And that was the best decision I ever made. After my first year, I was working in the administration building there at the school. I was going to undergrad school, and I got a job in the mailroom over in the ad building, and that's where I met my wife. Yeah, I was working in the mailroom at the administration building, and she was up on the 4th floor, and I was delivering a lot of mail to the 4th floor. And I ended up staying on and going to law school, and got a law degree from Michigan. And I was one of the senior guys and one of the better players on the team. The American Hockey Coaches Association meets after the season, and they get a view of all the players that are playing college hockey in the country, and they pick the 6 they think are the best. And twice I got picked to be the center on the All-American college hockey team. And I wasn't a blazing scorer or anything like that in college, but I could pretty much dominate the ice when I was out there. Kill penalties and just do the kind of dirty work that needs to get done in order to win hockey games. So that's how I ended up going to college and playing hockey. And it got me the things that are important to me, you know, education and a wonderful family.